Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So this is part 44 of the woman that married a man that didn't exist. If you are seeing this for the first time, that means you are, I don't say you are late. Oh, you're welcome, you're early. We'll go find the link of the playlist in the description so you can start from there. So for those that are up
Part
to
44
date,
of How I Married a Man That
let's
Didn't
continue.
Exist. I ain't even got my eyebrows on today. Didn't go to bed until 3:30 this morning after that live. Anyway, back to where we left off. So eventually the power came back on and he went back to Spring Hill the next day. I had been all over Facebook looking for a Joe and an Amber that were associated with each other. I promise you, I found every Joe that God placed on this planet, and I could not find the one I was looking for. So during the times that he would actually answer the video calls, he would be sitting inside of a different car. So it was a nicer model car, but it wasn't running properly, like it was older. He told me that Joe was giving it to him. Pardon me? No one is just giving you a car. Like, I promise you, no one's giving you a car. He said yes, that it needed quite a bit of work and that he was giving it to him if he could fix it up. Alarms started going off in my mind. No one is giving another person a car, especially someone that I have never heard of in the relationship, in the time of our relationship. If you have a friend that is that good, that's going to hand you over a car, you're going to be talking about them. So on October 13th, he called me asking for money, needing gas in his car. We now had a routine. If he was going to call me and ask for money, I'm going to be on FaceTime and I'm going to watch you put this gas in your car. I know it sounds extreme. I know it sounds like, well, why are you still there if you're having to do all this? I ain't even got to answer because you already know. So I was on FaceTime, saw him put the gas in the car, and then he went into his Cash App to screenshot the receipt or screenshot how much he had spent at the store or whatever. He sends me the screenshot. My picture is in the top right corner because I was on FaceTime, but I see a little emblem. You know how on the top of Cash App you have your most recent purchases? Like, it'll have a bubble for Walmart, a bubble for the gas station, a bubble that you sent $10 to your mom or whatever. There was an orange bubble at the top of it that said AutoZone. Now, I know you're thinking, why is it an issue? He could have bought something at AutoZone. First of all, with what money? Second of all, what do you need from AutoZone? So I asked him, and he gave me some bullshit excuse. He said something about like some brake fluid for the car or something like that. But once again, I had alarms going off in my head. I'm like, that doesn't sound right. So I clocked that and I put that in my back pocket for later. October the 14th, he was missing calls again. He was still maintaining that he was doing the side work, you guys. Remember, I had given him a time frame to have money in my account from these jobs. Otherwise, I was going to file for divorce. At that time, honestly, I don't know if I was bluffing or if I meant that, like if I was going to stand on that. I don't remember the way in which I said that to him, honestly. So he said, I love you so much, babe. Sorry, super busy today. Busy being a menace, perhaps? Anyway, so his birthday was on the 18th, and he had made a promise to come back home. We had planned dinner. I was going to make a chocolate cake. I had gotten him a few gifts, and I had gotten some stuff together for the girls to put together a gift basket for him full of his favorite snacks. He said that he would be on the way and that he was waiting on Joe to get back home to give him some money. First of all, why are you waiting on Joe to give you some money? So not only do you live there for free and you're not paying anything, you're waiting for this man to come home and give you some money so you can make it back home for your birthday? Make it make sense. Hours passed by. He stopped responding. I couldn't get in touch with him. His mom couldn't get in touch with him. It was his birthday. The girls were excited. We had this plan to do a family dinner. He never came. And this is another one of those situations in which every time a car passed by the house and it sounded like somebody was driving into the driveway, everybody would run to the door. I thought for sure he was coming. He didn't. So I was pissed. I was livid. I said, I'm not gonna fucking talk to him. I'm surely not sending him any more money. And I told his mom that. We had a little pact, and I know I had mentioned this before. We were not gonna send him any money, and we were gonna ignore his ass, at least for a couple days. To watch the girls break because he didn't come back home for his birthday to spend with them. That was the hardest thing. After he just didn't make it to the...
You know, the more I'm listening to this, especially when it has to do with the children, I get so enraged. I wish that people like this would never ever have anything to do with children. But we are in the world. Like, it's just so painful and heartbreaking. And I'm speaking from experience. So it's not like, so as she's recounting this story, like the thing is engraving me. It's making me even get angry.
middle's birthday.
Yes.
So I decided I needed to get the fuck away for a while. I needed out of that house. I needed love the girls, but I needed a break from being a single parent. I needed to get away. I packed my shit and I went to West Palm Beach, which is on the East Coast near Fort Lauderdale, and I went to go visit a friend. I was genuinely just slowly losing sense of myself. His mother had made the comment that I looked tired, I looked defeated, like I just wasn't looking well. Remember, during this entire period since the first disappearance, I'm declining. My mental health is in shambles, literally. I'm still throwing up. I still have anxiety. I am now having nightmares. So, like I said, I wasn't going to be answering any of his calls or texts. On the 20th, he started to text me. That's the very next day. I did not respond, and I did post a selfie to my Facebook story. He reacted to it, and he said, "Real nice, guess we're done." My response: "You did this, not me. You don't give a fuck about me. Our wedding didn't mean a thing. I don't mean a thing. I am nothing to you. I warned you, and you still didn't give a fuck." What came after these messages? A video call, 14 minutes long. Do y'all remember what I said in a previous video about these moments? And then I get a video call right after? Yeah, that happened. I don't know what he said. I don't remember. But I do know that, it was not 14 minutes, it was 24 minutes. Whatever he said during that call was enough to pull the wool back over my fucking eyes. A 24-minute video call.
Because he doesn't want to lose the nanny for his children. Not just a nanny, sponsor. She is sponsoring the family, sponsoring the children, sponsoring his life. So he's not willing to lose that yet, because I'm sure he has not secured the new one. I wish people like this would put that level of work into getting work for themselves and making money for themselves.
Looking back through these messages, and I've been doing a lot of that the last few days. Literally going back to the beginning, screenshotting shit so I can give y'all a good storyline. It was so clear that I was fighting so hard for my marriage. I was sending him our wedding photos, asking him, begging him to remember how beautiful our day was, to remember that feeling he had when he first saw me walking down the aisle and he cried, how happy we were. He would respond to that with exactly what he needed me to hear to keep me on that string. He would say all the things. "Baby, I love you so much. I'm so sorry I haven't been treating you right. I'm going to get better at my communication. I'm sorry I haven't been answering the phone." He laid it on thick, and that was how it was so easy to believe it. I wasn't ready to give up on my marriage. I was not raised that way. You don't throw away broken things. You try to fix them. I didn't realize that this was an evil man that I couldn't fix. I gave everything to have a successful marriage. I truly did. So the thought of letting go was unfathomable to me. There was no way I could do that. That's why I didn't let go. I was fighting, thinking that I could make it better. Let's get into part 45.
I like that she said it's evil. I think that's just it. It's evil. Because people like that, there's no conscience. There's no conscience. So he can't empathize with anybody. He can't show compassion. Someone that doesn't even send his own children. He doesn't even care. But
Married
us
men that
up
didn't
to this.
exist. Gonna be the last part until I get home from work. So that day, his mother and I had talked about Baker Act, Marchman Act. We couldn't Baker Act. A Baker Act is when you are in immediate danger to yourself or others. We had talked about doing a Marchman Act. This is when an adult is voluntarily placed in treatment for substance use if they are a harm to themselves or others. He would have fit the criteria at this point with the drinking and driving, with the financial irresponsibility, with the abandoning his family. There were a lot of other things going on with his aggressiveness, his erratic behavior. This is something I just had to fill out online and submit to the clerk of court, and we would have had an immediate hearing, and they would have either granted the Marchman Act or not granted. If they would have granted a Marchman Act, that means that they would have essentially gone and arrested him in a quiet way, and they would have taken him to treatment. He would have done a psych eval, and then they would have placed him in a substance abuse treatment facility where if he left, there were like legal consequences for that. So I had told her family members can apply for their loved one, and because I was his next of kin, I was his wife, I could do that. I told her, this is the day I told her I feel like I'm being held hostage in my own life. That is truly how I felt. I felt so stuck. I had moved. I no longer had my own place. I had no resources. I had no family or friends here. And I had a husband who I thought loved me, but was doing every single thing to break me at every turn. And while I still have to be a parent, while I still have to keep up a job and my responsibilities. At this point, we had decided not to do the Marchman Act. I'm not sure why, but the Marchman Act did later, and I filled it out. I did fill it out later on. I just never sent it in. I'll have to look back at my messages for that, but there was a time where I was very close to sending this in and getting him put involuntarily into a facility. So Rob also promised to go to detox again this day. He said Amber and Joe were going to take him, and that they would not let him stay at their house anymore if he didn't go. So at this point, it was sounding like they were fed up with his shit too. During this time, Emily told me that she spoke to Joe on the phone, and Joe had told her not to worry. They were going to take care of him, and they were going to make sure that he went. Like, they were going with him and walking him in.
See, you are hearing the mother. What did I tell you guys? She's a big enabler. We know that there's no Joe and Amber. We know he's staying with a woman, and the mother knows. She knows. There are a lot of mothers like this. They know that their child or their children are bad, but they will be covering up for them because they don't want them to lose the woman that's.
I don't remember my
This
reaction to
behaves
this.
like
I think I was asking her a lot of questions about Joe, because this was just a mystery man to me. So nothing ever happened. He called me. He told me he was going to go to the hospital around 4 to 5. I told him I felt like he had ruined my life after I left everything behind to come be here with him and his family. I talked about the girls and his broken promises and how it was affecting them so deeply, which his response was, they're okay. The little one was having dreams that her father was there. And she would wake up and she would cry and be very upset because it wasn't real. It was a dream. And I told him that. So he also said during this time that his mom had told him that I had been saying to her that I thought he was with another woman, which was true, but I don't know why she would have told him that. So I told him all the reasons why I thought so, and he said, I don't have any reason to lie to you. If I was going to, I'd send you a picture while I was doing it. He loved to say that to me. I don't know why. Let's go back to this statement. I don't have any reason to lie to you. No, you don't have any reason to lie to me, but you continue to. You have no reason to lie. So he never went to detox that day. I don't know what fell through with Amber and Joe. I don't know. October 22nd, he promised he was going to go to the hospital again. All day. I'll go later. I'm going at this time. I'm going at this time. Nothing. Another day passed. October 24th. Oh, I'll go. He said he was going to go again. I'm watching a movie right now, though. I'll go after my movie. Excuse the fuck out of me? You're going to go after a movie? He clearly wasn't going to go. And he was just keeping us both on this string. Do you see how this pattern's going? On October 25th, he came home. This was the first time he was home since the hurricane, and I was so annoyed. I didn't even want to give him his birthday gifts, but the girls did. They were very excited. I straight up looked him in his face, though, and I told him, you don't deserve any of this. I was just sick to my stomach. And it almost became where I was dreading when he would come because I knew there was going to be fighting. But still, I'm looking back through these messages and I can see where I'm so clearly trying to fight for my marriage. He was home and I told him how much better it was when he was home, that I wish he didn't leave, that can we start over and start loving each other correctly. I feel so sad for that girl when I read those messages back. We ended up ordering Chinese and we had like a family movie night. One of the girls was at a friend's house. The other two were there. We were just kind of hanging out. I was not feeling well that night and I didn't know what was going on. And then the morning of October 26th, I woke up and something was wrong. I felt dizzy. I felt sick. Something was not right in my body and I couldn't tell you what it was. Emily's stepdaughter was diabetic, so I happened to check my blood sugar on her meter and my blood sugar was well over 450 at this point. 450. Just for the people who don't know anything about diabetes, a normal range before a meal is 80 to 130. After a meal, 130 to 180. Anything over 180 is high. Anything over 300 is dangerous. So my mom is a nurse. I called and I told my mom, and she said I need to get to the hospital right now. I had texted his mom. She agreed. He agreed. So I'm sitting on the couch and I look at him. I said, let's go. Like, are you going to take me to the hospital? Can you go to the hospital with me? And this man looks at me and he says, there's a football game on. I thought he was kidding, which was a really shitty joke. He said it again. And I realized he was not joking. So I got up and I went to the bedroom and I sat on the bed and I just cried. I cried because I was scared. I cried because I was sick. And I cried because I was ashamed that I needed more than he was willing to give me. He hadn't been home in weeks, and his wife is sick and scared. And he told me he wouldn't go to the hospital with me because of a football game on TV. He comes into the bedroom and he says, put your clothes on, let's go. As if I was a burden, a chore. We get in the car and his mom follows behind us to the hospital. And I already think I knew what was going to happen. And I also knew that in the hospital he wouldn't be able to drink. I'll tell you the rest of this part.
Oh, God. it just keeps getting worse. You think that, oh, okay, we'll send the worst that he can, he could possibly do, and he'll just turn around and give you another version that you're not even expecting. And just imagine what it must have been for her to go through this and having to take care of children on it, financially, emotionally, physically. Right. Oof, my heart goes out to every woman in this situation because let's face it, there are a lot of women in this situation. Even in my country, it's even worse in my country because they will never leave. Most of them, even if you give them a way out, they'll say no, they want to stay married. Oof, guys.
So we're on the way to the hospital. He drops me off at the front, goes to park the car. I go in, I register. We're in the waiting room, me, him, and his mother. He is pacing the entire time. He cannot stand still or sit still. He is giving me anxiety. He's like, I'm just so anxious. I can't be here. Like, hospitals make me anxious. He walks outside a couple times to vape and pretty sure to take a sip of beer out of the car. And he comes back in. Mind you, I am feeling like shit at this point. I don't feel well. The nurse calls me back into triage, meaning blood pressure, weight, what's going on. They both come in there with me. She gets all the information and it's time for me to go back to the room. The nurse says only one person can come with you. I look at my husband and my husband looks at his mom. And he says, she can go with you. I'm going home. You guys have no idea what that did to me. I was devastated by that. In my worst moment, in sickness and in health, right? So we went back. We were at the hospital for 8 hours. I know I have a lot of tattoos. I have a very real phobia of medical needles. They were digging in my arm to get a vein, and they had to do a special blood test. They had an IV in me, they were poking, prodding, and then they told me I had diabetes. This is the first day I found out. He came back once around 4 p.m. for 20 minutes, and then he left again. He napped. He watched football. He drank beer. While I was in the hospital, scared and alone. Yes, Emily was there, but I wanted my husband. That is his place. That is his job. And he left me there. I was very upset. So that was October 26th. October 28th. It was the middle of the day. I had decided to take a nap. I was still recovering. With your blood sugar going up high, it takes a few days to start feeling normal. Apparently he decided to leave during that time, and when he came back, he woke me up with a kitten in the bed. He put a kitten in the bed with me. I was like, what the fuck is this? Mind you, I already told you Emily had hella cats. Not to mention my Mango and my Tonka. What are we doing with another cat? You need to take that back. He said that he had picked up a kitten from Pop Pop's house because Amber and Joe wanted one. And he was going to take it back to them when he went back up there. I was so fucking annoyed. First of all, you woke me up. Second of all, you put a cat on top of me. People who were in my live last night, y'all know how much I love cats. This was not about that. This was about I knew what was coming. Can you guess who took care of that cat? You'd be correct. It wasn't him. I took care of that cat. The girls took care of that cat. The stepdaughter took care of that cat. Everybody else but him while he played with it and loved on it. The litter box, feeding it, all of that stuff fell on everybody else. Per usual, because he cannot take responsibility for anything. He showed that kitten more love and affection and consideration in 30 minutes than he ever did with me. Especially after we got married. Which is ironic considering the way he tortured the other cats. You see the pattern? the intense love in the beginning, the cherishing something so greatly, and then once it's old news, what does he do? He tortures them, cats and people too. This kitten was nothing but a perfect metaphor for that. October 29th, we had gone to the store. We were on the way back home in the turning lane. A car behind us must have beeped, I don't remember. He exploded. He started cursing. He started making threats. He put my shit in park. We were in my car, and he was driving. And he whipped my door open, and he gets out, and he's ready to beat this guy's ass. The things that he was saying, I'm sitting in the passenger seat, and my heart is racing. This is scaring me. The guy like shrinks in his seat. Like, I don't want no problems, bro. He gets back in the car and he slams my door so hard he breaks it. Do you know how hard you have to slam a door to break it? On a Corolla? Even to this day, my handle does not open my door from the inside. I have to roll down my window and open my door from the outside, even when it's raining. Destructive. So Halloween came and went. He had actually participated, and he gave me a little bit of slack or flack or whatever. He didn't want to, but I got him to dress up. I got him, he was in like a safari outfit, so he had on like khaki shorts and like an army green shirt, and I got him like a safari bucket hat, a khaki hat, and I had a leopard print dress that I wore, and I put my hair in space buns to look like ears, and I had leopard print makeup on my face. It was actually cute. Anyway, he actually participated, and we went and took the girls trick-or-treating, and we stayed out for a while. He didn't bitch much. We got some really cute pictures before we all went trick-or-treating, just us together, us and the girls, and then just me and the girls in their costumes. It was a good night. I had FaceTimed my parents. My dad had already texted me on the 25th when he came home, because my dad was so concerned about everything happening, and my dad had been trying to reach out to him. Remember, my dad has had problems with alcohol, and he wanted to talk to him, to comfort him, to try to give him some guidance. He would never pick up the phone for my dad. So anyway, my dad was happy he was home. My dad thought they can fix things. So we FaceTimed them on Halloween night, and I loved when he interacted with my parents. It made me feel whole. So the night ended. We're all sitting in the kitchen. The girls are divvying up their Halloween candy and making trades. And all in all, it was a really good night. I had no idea that these pictures we took on Halloween would be the last pictures we ever took together. Stay tuned.
Do you know what I'm just thinking? I just hope that after all these heartbreaks, after all this, that the man will not be the one to call it quits. Because I've heard a story like this where who told us that it was the man that left. After all the troubles, he's the one that decided to still leave that, oh, I'm tired. Since you don't want to go, I'm tired. For a man to open his mouth and tell you, oh, I'm tired, he must have been doing a lot of things to make you to want to quit, but you decided to stay. Because men, they'll tell you that they will never break up, but they'll do things that will make you want to break up. Because they don't want to be the one to do the breaking up. Yes, I'm getting angry.
So November 1st, the next day after Halloween, he was supposed to go to the hospital. It was getting later in the day, and he told me after 5 p.m. that he wasn't going. He wanted to spend just one more night with me, and that he had already talked to his mother about it. So obviously he didn't give a fuck about spending time with me, otherwise he wouldn't have moved 3 hours away right after we got married. I texted his mom and I confronted her about this, and she said he never told me that. We never had that conversation. which I obviously knew that was true. She was not going to sit there and say, yeah, that's fine, don't go to the hospital for detox. So it's important to note at this moment that he had completely stopped parenting altogether. So anytime I brought an issue to his attention with the girls, his response was, y'all handle it. So he was not actively involved whatsoever, and I mean whatsoever. Over the course of months, he missed every birthday, award ceremony, volleyball game, movie night, park trip, ice cream date, struggle with grades, homework, everything. He missed the tears in between of missing him. He missed the rage in between of why they couldn't understand why their dad was there. But they were happy when he called, which he never did. Anytime.
This is why I will never for the life of me understand women that knowingly go into relationship, even to the extent of getting married to them. Men that they know that are bad fathers. I'm not talking about the one that the wife, the baby mothers are refusing them to see the children. I'm talking about the one that you know. But in your head, you're thinking that, oh, your own case will be different. He will love you. And you guys
they
will
would
give
talk
birth
to
to your own
him,
children.
it was me calling him. You need to talk to the girls, they miss you. He left us to be the bad guys, and he got to be the fun guy whenever he came around, which we know was not often. He would undo any progress we had made with the girls as far as rules and chores and discipline, getting them on a routine. All of it went out the window, making our life harder. And we were truly seen as the bad guys when we had to enforce rules that he would undo when he came. So he made promises to call them at night, and he never did. One night, the oldest girl was having some issues with her grades, and I got her dad on the phone to talk to her. Instead of being kind and compassionate and figuring out what's going on, he gets on the phone with her and he says, what the fuck you got going on? She loses it. She screamed and cried, and she said, if you were ever here, you would know what I have going on. He called her a fucking bitch, and he threatened to send her to her biological father, a man that she didn't know, a man that didn't want her from birth. Even then, afterwards, he refused to talk to her on the phone, even if he had spoken to the other two. This went on for weeks. So if he was on the phone with the other two, and they would ask, do you want to talk to her? He would say, nah, I'm good. I don't have anything to say to her. This went on for a long time. And she would have comments about it. She'd be very upset. And I would have to try to diffuse the situation. So November 2nd, the day he was supposed to go to the hospital, times 50. I feel like we're in Groundhog Day at this point. It was midday Saturday, and I was in the room taking a nap. He came in there and he woke me up out of my sleep. And he said, I have a deal for you. I already knew what this was about, but I was listening anyway. He said, I'll go to the hospital tomorrow and I'll let you take me if I get to spend just one more night with you. I said, absolutely not. So he started to whine. Come on, babe, do it for me. Babe, do it for me. If you love me, you do it for me. I looked at him calmly and I said, if that is your choice, that's fine. But this is my response to it. I took off my wedding rings and I laid them on the bed right beside his hand. What the fuck does that mean, Chastity? It means I can't do this with you.
I just hope that to be I don't even know what to say, but guys, I just hope she will not come back again. So it might not be like it will become a pattern. Oh, I'll remove my ring, I'll divorce you, and when I sweet talk her again, she'll come back. Oh, my husband.
Anymore. Tomorrow never comes.
Husband.
Instant fighting, instant yelling, instant aggression, instant stomping around the house. So I packed my bag, I grabbed my keys, and I grabbed my rings off the bed, and I went into the living room. I laid them on the kitchen counter. I'm done. We're arguing, and I told him, either you go today or I go today. You have killed every soft part in me. You've killed your family. You took advantage of a heart that has stayed with you, someone that has wanted better for you and to help you be a better man. If you don't go and get help, I'll never put them back on again. He just sat on the couch, talking shit. I don't know if he thought I was bluffing or not. Probably, because how many times have we been through this? And how many times did I stay? So I got in my car and I headed to West Palm Beach. After the girls heard the commotion and they're asking where I'm going, and he says, oh, don't worry, she's just going to a friend's house, she'll be back. Making so light of the situation. I did tell all the girls bye before I left, and I did tell them I'd be back. I texted his mom when I got there. I made it. I'm sorry. I remember this day. I have nothing left inside of me. I knew he wasn't going to go today, and staying there with him was going to break me completely. I am completely dead, and I have nothing left. I stayed in West Palm Beach for 2 days. Let's go to part 48.
I just hope that after that 2 days, she went to find her life and not go back there again. I know it's not easy. No, when you've not experienced it, it's easy for you to talk and point fingers. And being the fact that, guys, don't even know what to say, but my heart breaks for this woman. And even though she's no longer there, but the feeling and that experience, it's going to take so much before it leaves her.
November
It's
4th, I was driving back from West Palm Beach. I was driving straight into work. This was a Monday morning. On the way, about 7:30 in the morning, I get a video call from Rob. Mind you, we had not spoken since I left. The video call lasted less than 3 minutes. He said that I left him and that I had made my choice. You want to get into technicalities, I see. So I told him, who left who when you broke our vows before we could even get our wedding pictures back? Who's cried in agony over you missing because I was so scared and genuinely didn't know what was happening? Where were you when I laid on the bathroom floor for nights after everyone went to bed to feel something stable under my body because I felt like I was going to float away? I was so disoriented. Where the fuck were you? So you tell me who left who. This was your plan all along. To break me past the point of recognition so when I crumbled, you could have the honor of saying that you didn't leave me.
Remember what I told you guys. Men don't like to do the live like the breaking up. They will, you know, they will frustrate you so much so that you will be the one to do the breakup, and the blame will not follow. But you're the one that up
I
and
went to work
left.
exhausted, broken, confused, defeated. At some point during the day, I went on my Facebook and I went to his page that no longer existed. So I texted his mom and I told her to go look to see if his page was still up, and she said, yes, why? I told her that he had blocked me on Facebook. This man blocked me and my family and my friends and anyone that I was associated with. We had a call. Why did you block me? Because you made your decision. I made my decision because you made yours. Doesn't matter. You still made your decision. You still left me. His mom said that he told her the same thing, the exact same conversation. I made my decision. I said that he won't even fight. He won't even give me the tiniest sign that I should stay. And I was...
Hey, he wouldn't even fight. A man that's looking for a way out. He has a new target, and you are stopping his plans. And I'm sure this is not new to his mom. This must have been his pattern all along. The mom is familiar with this. The mom is
Looking
familiar
for
with it,
one.
so it's not new
Remember,
to
I
her
don't want to give
again.
up on my marriage. She said, listen to this. I know. I think he's focused on getting sober. I know y'all seen the memes going around the internet of mamas be swearing that they didn't raise their son like that. Miss Emily, yes the fuck you did. I'll say it again. I scooped my jaw off the floor. The night of November 4th, I got home from work. He was sitting on the couch, asked if we could talk. So I did what I did, but now I didn't know if I was standing on it. Standing on it felt shaky. I asked him if he even wanted to work things out. He was stone cold. He wouldn't touch me. He wouldn't hug me. When I tried to hug him, he wouldn't. He was a fucking rock.
This is annoying me. Oh my god. Can we have respect for ourselves? Like, let's. Oh god. I wish everybody would learn to love themselves and have regard. See, when you have respect and regard for yourself, ah, and she's giving this man more missiles against her because you see that he can manipulate and do whatever he wants and still get away with that.
He was
After
on
she'll
his
come back.
phone the entire time I'm trying to have a conversation with him. And I told him, what is so important that you can't put your phone down for 5 minutes and speak to me? Oh, I'm looking for Amber's daughter on Facebook. She had wished me good luck and all these things before I go to detox. I wanted to tell her thank you. I did go over there and I did peek over his shoulder. He was typing Amber's name into the search bar of his Facebook. He was typing the last name too, but I couldn't see it. It was blurry and his phone was tilted. But I saw the last initial that it started with. Babies, I know my back pocket is full, but I tucked that bitch back there for later. So,
As if you do
after
anything
that,
with it.
he was on his phone the entire time. He wouldn't talk to me. I dropped the conversation. I didn't have the mental capacity. His mom got home. She was taking him to the hospital finally. Like, she was physically taking this man to the hospital. So they got there. They gave him an IV. They gave him meds. They told him to go to detox in the morning. This was fucking pointless. He got home at, I don't know, it was very late. And he tried to stay sober. This man was pacing around the house. He was freaking out. He was crying. He was very erratic. He was begging. Like, he said he couldn't do this. Regardless of what happened, I was trying to talk him down at this point. I really still wanted him to go to detox. I was trying to convince him. I was trying to be gentle with him. I was trying to encourage him. And none of it worked. His mom drove him at 2 a.m. to go get some beer. The next morning, I get up and I'm getting ready for work. And I am in the bathroom, the master bathroom. And all of a sudden, I hear this man yelling at the top of his lungs. Chastity, you better come fucking get him. You better come fucking get him right now before I fuck him up. I run across the house. And I don't normally run nothing but my mouth. He is in the bedroom with my cat, Tonka. My cat, Tonka, I have had for 10 years. Tonka never liked his ass. Tonka, he had been stomping around and it scared him, and Tonka reached from under the bed and scratched his foot. And he lost it. He is screaming. He's stomping around. He's trying to swat at him. I'm yelling at him to stop because you're doing nothing but scaring him more. He's going to bite you. He's going to scratch you more. And then he said, if you don't get him, I'm going to put a fucking bullet in his head. I came unglued because guess what? One day, not too long before this, he came home with a gun. A loaded gun. And it was in our nightstand. Not only did he come home with a loaded gun, I would come home and he'd be sitting in the bed and he'd be playing with it. I'm freaking out. I'm screaming it like it's a blood-curdling scream for him to stop. I'm desperate. He looks at Tonka. He looks up at me. And then he looks down at Tonka again. And he says, as soon as your mama goes to work, I'm going to put a fucking bullet in your head. I was frozen. I was screaming. I was paralyzed with fear. Because I believed him. I believed him. He was...
You believe that that kind of man would do something like that, and you're still comfortable to stay on the same roof, under the same roof. Wow. Just wow. Like, I'm speechless. Like, we're really getting to see how the mind of victims like this act, how their mind is, even when they know somebody is dangerous, even to them.
100% capable of doing this.
Wow.
And once again, when he gets in these modes where he is to this point, you cannot talk him down. His eldest daughter had heard all of this commotion. She came into the bedroom. I'm literally sitting on a chair and I'm like this. I'm frozen. I'm shaking. I'm crying. She comes in there and she wraps her arms around me and she says, Chastity, I'm so sorry. I love you. I could do nothing but cry. I was late for work, but I was scared I was going to come home to a dead cat. I tried to gather myself as much as possible. I told him, you better leave him the fuck alone. And I left for work. On my way, I texted his mother and I told her word for word everything that had just happened. This was her response. Oh my God, don't worry. He's not going to hurt him. He just says that. As if the gun wasn't real, as if the gun wasn't loaded, as if he wasn't unhinged, as if I wasn't scared. I said, I don't care. I've seen him torture your cat before. I don't put it past him to hurt him as soon as I leave. That anger and aggression is scaring me. She said, well, hopefully he'll be gone for 5 days soon to detox. I sat at work all day, unable to focus, unable to think, because the thought of coming home and my cat being dead, hurt, or injured in any type of way was too much for my nervous system to handle. It wasn't just a threat. This was real, and he was capable of doing so. I don't give a fuck what she says. Part 48 of How I Married a Man That Did.
Whoa, guys. What do you say to that? I'm sure the mother was not moved because it's her son now. It's her son. She's been seeing that from him. So it's no longer news. Wow.
Part 49 of How I Married a Man That Didn't Exist. So on the same day, November 5th, he had an appointment to go into treatment. He had a referral from the hospital from the night before, remember? His mom had texted me stating that they had called him and changed his appointment to the next day at 2:30 because they didn't have a bed. He messaged her and said, you can call if you don't believe me. So she asked if I believed him. And I told her I honestly didn't care anymore. Honestly, what does it matter if I believe him or not? So she stated that she was going to call the facility. She texted me later stating that she spoke to them and that he was telling the truth. They had canceled and moved his appointment. Suspicious. So that night, I went to our daughter's volleyball game. He was home and he didn't go. This was her very first game. So that night I was trying to sleep. He was in the room and he was watching TV very loud, laughing, being disruptive. I asked him repeatedly to turn it down and he refused. So I told him that he was so selfish knowing I had to work the next day and he didn't have a damn thing to do. So he kept telling me how he didn't give a fuck how I felt. He didn't care that I wasn't getting any sleep. He was going to do what he wanted. what he wanted, I had told him, well, if you're going to be like that, go out to the living room and go sleep on the couch. So he refused to do that. He refused to turn the TV off. So I got fed up, and it's after midnight at this point. So I went and I got on the couch, which was very uncomfortable at the time. And I was like, I'm just going to sleep out here. So I got set up and I laid down. And what does he do? He turns the TV up louder. I was so upset. He was purposely trying to break me down mentally as much as possible. He knew I had to get up for work. He knew I couldn't sleep. He knew what he was doing when he turned that shit up louder.
That man is fed up with her. He's already on to his next target, and he's doing everything humanly possible to frustrate her, to get her things and leave. And she's not leaving, and it's annoying him. That's why he'll keep frustrating her the more, keep annoying her the more. That's their pattern. Are we surprised? Because he will never tell her, oh, I don't want again. He wants her to be the one to up and go, so that he will have the child to say, oh, she left.
So, November 6th, I got a text from his mom saying he was leaving the house at 1:15 to go to his 2:30 appointment at the treatment center. So his mom texted me and said that he video called her while he was there, and she said that he was at the treatment place, that she saw it. Seconds later, I get a call from him sobbing. He was apologizing for what he's put me through. He was sorry about last night. He doesn't know who he is. He hates himself. He loves me so much. You guys see how broken and confused I was after all of the hell that he just put me through. He is now telling me he loves me. At this point, I was tired, emotionally drained. That didn't hit me like it used to. I didn't feel anything. In fact, I felt numb. I did not cater to that. I did not. I was a shell of a person at this point. So, can you guess what happened next? He said they called him while he was there in the parking lot, and they canceled his appointment again. Because he had called me before he went in, wanting to talk to me prior to going into detox. He said after that they called him while he was sitting in their parking lot, and they canceled his appointment again. So at this point, I'm fresh out of fucks. I don't even think I had a substantial reaction to this, because it's like all the lies, all the lies, all the lies. Why would I believe this? Why would I was indifferent. So I guess he turned around and went back home. The night was normal. November 7th, I went to work as usual. This was a Thursday, so I had to see a client for my other job after I got out of my main job. This is when I was still working with the addiction program. So I want to note, at this time, when I was still working in addiction, to go see clients, to remain helpful, to remain professional, and to keep my personal feelings out of it was more difficult than you can imagine. To be having this going on at home and then going and sitting across from another alcoholic, trying to counsel them, trying to have a non-judgmental space, that was extremely difficult. So I met my client after work. We always met from 5 to 6 p.m. At 5:05, I get a text from Rob's mom. They fucking canceled him again. So they had supposedly rescheduled him for this day from him getting canceled the day before. This would have been the third cancellation, because they don't have a bed. So I wasn't able to respond. I was unable to find out what happened. I was with my client. I was not on my phone. I was attentive. I was doing my job. But the entire time I was there, I was like unable to focus. Anxiety was buzzing through my body. And I was just waiting for this visit to be over so I could give her a call. So as soon as it was done, I called her and she said they had called him again, stating there were still no beds available. She said that he was throwing a fit. How is anyone supposed to get help? Fuck that place, I'll find another place. I'm trying to go get help and they're just canceling me, da-da-da-da-da. Now once again, I don't know everything, but I know a lot. I've worked in treatment long enough to know at least how they operate. So Emily was on the way to the eldest volleyball game, which once again he wasn't going to. Second volleyball game. While he's been home, he didn't go. I was driving home from work and I decided to call the rehab. So I spoke to a staff member and I stated my husband, Rob, has had an appointment for the last 3 days, but that he kept getting canceled. He was getting calls from the facility, rescheduling his appointments. This was the 3rd time that it happened. Can you tell me what's going on, please? Ma'am, no one has called your husband to cancel. I'm looking at the notes now. It looks like he's the one who's called and rescheduled twice. He was supposed to be here at 5 today. So I asked her if we came right now, would he still have a bed? And she said yes, that they were waiting on him. So I immediately called his mom and I told her what they said. What a fucking liar, honestly. And now I'm wondering, Emily, did you talk to them for real? You called them? You called them and talked to them and they told you that they called him to cancel? Because I just got a completely different story. Remember what I said? Suspicious? Anyway, I told her to turn around right now, go to the house to make sure he doesn't leave, then to call me back. And so when she called me back, she put me on speaker so I could talk to him. At this point, I knew being upset would not be helpful. Rob, I know you lied. I called the rehab. They still have a spot for you. As soon as I get home, we'll load up and we will bring you. I stayed even-toned and calm the entire time. I know how he gets when his lies have been discovered. No, I'm not fucking going. They had their chance. Delusional. I'm gonna find a place in Tampa. I've already been looking. And I was like, why the fuck would you go to Tampa? You're just trying to go as far away as possible from the people who are holding you accountable. Well, person. I don't even know what Emily was doing at this point. So I kept calm once again. And I said, Rob, please, there's still time to get you there. I know you're scared, but we're all here to support you. It's going to be okay, I promise. You just have to take the first step. Let's get into part 50.
It's how they keep pampering an old man. The man that's supposed to be head of the family. It's how they keep pampering him. Why do we women do this? Like, why? I understand giving grace to people, but this is not grace. This is not grace. And I don't know how some mothers, not all mothers, they are good mothers. I don't know how some mothers that like the way they enable their children, and in their eyes their children can never do wrong. You think you are doing right by that child. You think you are doing right by that child.
50 of how I married a man that didn't exist. He said, I told you I'm not fucking going. I don't care what you say. Shut the fuck up about it. I was pleading. Emily, do something. Talk to him. She said, what do you want me to say? He's got his mind made up. He had said that he had already been on the phone with some rehabs in Tampa and he could get into all these different ones. And it was just complete and utter bullshit. And she was just not helping. So I get home, I walk through the door, and I calmly say, grab your things, let's go. I was trying, you guys. I was upset, I was mad, I was frustrated. I could have roundhouse kicked this man to his head. But I still, whether we were together or not, needed him, wanted him to find healing, to find sobriety. For the daughters. They deserve a sober dad, regardless of how I feel about him. I was just talking very calmly, and I'm like, I'm ready to go. I said, I have my keys, or we can take your mom's car. Like, just go grab what you need, and we'll go ahead and go. I already told you I'm not going. Get the fuck out of my face, or I swear to God. So I argued with him about Tampa. I was like, why are you so concerned with getting back up there to make sure you're as far away as possible from anyone who's holding you accountable? Like, you're trying to get away so we don't have access to you. We don't have access to your information. You're just running. So the fight got really bad. It was one of the worst ones we ever had. And if I remember correctly, Emily was just there, and the only thing she would say is like, guys, the kids are here, like, calm down. I went in after I had tried to be kind and compassionate and calm, and still offered to take his ass over there. I remember telling him he was such a fucking liar. All he does is lie. I was like, I don't think you would know what the truth is if it would bite you in the ass. His response, I don't give a fuck.
And to be honest, that is him being honest. Just that he's the one finding it hard to accept him being honest with her. He doesn't give an F. He doesn't. And it's just so hard for her to wrap her head around it, that this man that used to shower me with words, not action, let's be honest. This man that used to shower me with words, I want him to be real. I want him to be that lovely man.
I absolutely snapped in this moment. All of the anger, frustration, pain bubbled up in my throat. I couldn't stop it. I looked at him. I was very close to him too. He was sitting down on the couch, per usual. I'm standing close. Why wait? If you want to go to Tampa so bad, get your shit and get the fuck out right now. Get the fuck out of here. I don't want you here. You and I are done. He, of course, argued back. I don't remember what he said. When I get to that point, my ears shut off. I don't hear anything else you say. So I went into my room for the rest of the night. I was done, literally. I cannot fight this battle. So Emily texted me around 11 p.m. asking if I was awake, and I didn't answer. How could she not do anything? She has watched this man destroy me in every way for months, and yet I was still there trying to get him where he needed to go.
Let's be honest. I don't think Emily cares about her. That's not her business. All she wants is her lovely son. Let her son be happy and do whatever he wants. Any other person, just a means to an end for the two of them. Emily does not care. She doesn't. And that's how mothers like this are. They don't care about any other person outside their dad and child.
So, November 8th. Get up, go to work like usual. I didn't say shit to him that morning. I get back home, he's gone. He left a mess. Remember the little kitten that was for Amber and Joe? He left the litter box in the room. He hadn't scooped it out. That shit stank. There was litter everywhere all over the floor. His clothes were strewn everywhere. And there were empty beer cans littering my room. I texted Emily, and she said, what the fuck? I told him to clean that shit up. I guess he didn't. You're letting him run around out here like a wild moose. You have no accountability. You are letting him wreak havoc without facing any consequences. Okay, Miss Emily. November 10th. I hadn't talked to him. At this point, we had no communication. So this was a Sunday, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe a Saturday, I don't fucking know. I booked Emily and I massages. My body had been tense and aching for months. And after this whole incident, I was so stressed out, I needed to go get a massage. And I thought it'd be nice for us to go together. Remind you that I still had a great relationship with her, and I can speak out of anger looking back now, because I saw the things that she did, the things that she didn't do, the manipulation from her end. That is another thing that I did not see in that moment. So the last couple of days, she had been acting really funny on the phone. Like, she was acting really secretive. Whenever she'd get a phone call from him, she would go to her room, she'd step outside, and that's not something that she ever really did. So on the way to the massage place, we were in her car, she was driving, she got a phone call from him, and she made sure to tell him that I was in the car too. I heard him say something about a hospital. Then she said, okay, well, let me know what happens. So of course I asked, what's going on? She said that they were taking Amber to the ER. And I said, why was Rob going? Why was he talking to you about it? Like, what? I said, if Joe was her husband and Joe was going, why the fuck is Rob third wheeling to the hospital? I said, that doesn't make any sense. I said, where is Joe? Where is her husband at?
Emily, the mother, already knows that her son is camping with another woman while abandoning his married wife in her house. Like I told you guys, I'm sure this is not the first time it's happening. So she's used to that way of his behaving, and she enables it. That's why you see him always, keeping her up to date. Of course, she's
He's there
falling in
too.
lifetime too. Rubbish.
We're having just a date at the hospital. All she said was, I don't know. At that moment, I broke down. I said, Emily, tell me the truth, because I know you know. Is he with Amber? She said, I don't know anything, but I promise I'll find out. I sobbed the entire way to the massage appointment. I was confused. I didn't understand. For months, my brain felt like it was in a fog. It was not firing correctly. I couldn't think straight, not even in just these instances. I literally felt like I was a ghost watching my body do life, do work, do my responsibilities. I felt like I was not attached to my body for months. We're gonna stop here, and we're
I don't even know what to say. I'm just so mad. And to think that there are a lot of people like this, they usually get away with it. Every other person will not be tiptoeing around them.
51 of How I Married a Man That Didn't Exist. We had just pulled back up in the driveway at home after we got our massages, and the phone rang. Rob was calling her. She answered the phone over the car speaker, and I had signaled her not to let him know that I was there so I could listen. I wanted to catch him slip up. She immediately said, you're on speakerphone, Chastity's with me.
I told you guys that Emily, of course, is not surprised. Emily has already known what's going on, and she does not want Chastity to know. I promise I'll find out. She's a liar just like her son. She breeded, or she nurtured and reared a liar like herself, and a drunkard like herself. So do you think she will expose her
So
son?
he told Emily about Amber. She had alcohol poisoning. He said that they had her back in a room and that he would keep her updated, keep Emily updated. So you've been saying you've been up there not drinking, you're drinking less, and you're doing good, but apparently you're living with a whole ass alcoholic. Another thing, where the fuck is Joe? So I spoke up. I said, Rob, why don't you just tell me the fucking truth? You're with her, you've been with her the entire time, and you're cheating, and you've been cheating the entire time. Why the fuck are you like this? You're always so insecure and crazy. I don't want to talk to you. I said, so you'll stay there with her, but you wouldn't even stay in the hospital with your sick wife. He hung up and I just fell apart. This hurt. You are staying at the hospital with some bitch that has alcohol poisoning, but I was so sick, and you wouldn't even take me, you wouldn't even go in with me, you wouldn't stay with me. I was your wife. I am your wife. I asked his mom. I said, why the fuck, what? She, I don't know, I don't know. That massage was for nothing. At this point, my entire body was tense like a fist. So I began obsessively investigating. I was on Facebook. I was trying to find some fragment of the truth. So this night, we were sitting in the living room, and I had asked Emily to please let me go on her phone, on her Facebook, to go on his page because I knew he was hiding something. I don't know. I really thought she was going to be a girl's girl. So she
A girl's girl from a protective mother. Come on. You know, we women like to delude ourselves. Oh, I'm a girl's girl. Let's be honest with ourselves.
said, no, I'm not going to let you do that. No. And she said, we'll do it later, I promise. So that shit just pissed me right on off. So I got up and I went in my bedroom and I shut the door. A little bit later, she comes in there and she asked if I was mad at her. And I told her no. I said, I just don't understand why you won't let me look. She said that she wanted to do it later with me when the girls were in bed, so everything was quiet, and so she could be with me to support me in case I saw something I didn't like. So I told her, I said, what are you hiding? She was like, I'm not hiding anything. I don't know what you're gonna see, and I wanted to be there to support you. It was at this moment Rob called my phone. He said, why the fuck are you trying to look on my page? Mom told me that you asked her to look on my page. Emily was sitting right there next to me. Emily had warned him. I pleaded with him. Because I know you're cheating on me. Please just tell me, put me out of my misery. I don't even think I would have fought. I wouldn't have argued. But I was in hell and I just wanted him to put me out of my misery. Just let me know. Not only had I been discarded, I was left gaslit, manipulated, and no understanding of what was happening around me for months. I was so disoriented. I didn't know which way was up. I told him, I said, what you're putting me through is inhumane. So he yelled and he told me to quit trying to get on his page. And we got off the phone. And I looked at her and I said, why did you do that? Why did you give him a heads up to give him time to get rid of whatever he didn't want me to see? She literally had no answer. None. So she pulls out her phone, goes to his page to finally, show me. There is no page. It's gone. He deactivated it while he was on the phone with me. They pulled off the perfect crime. Distract, delay, disorient. On another occasion,
But with all this going on, you are still waiting for proof. I'm just want to ask, all this activity from the mom and him, is it not proof enough, or until you see it, when they've given you every possible indication that I'm doing something, I don't want you to find out, I still want to keep you while I keep the other person because you guys are funding my life. It's not as if you are even getting anything from this man. See, the Nigerian girl in me is just finding it hard to even like wrap my head around this. Money he does not have.
Emily and Rob were on FaceTime in the living room. I had come out of my room because I wanted to hear what they were talking about. So I looked over at her and I signaled for her once again not to let him know that I was in the room. I really wanted to hear him slip up and tell on himself somehow. I needed closure. I needed answers. I needed to understand why my husband disappeared and why he didn't love me anymore, and did he ever love me to begin with. I needed to know what was going on. I needed some fragment of truth to set me free. I felt like I was being held down, and that unless I knew the truth, I would never be able to walk away and move on. So I was standing behind the couch where Emily's stepdaughter was sitting. All of a sudden, Emily flipped the camera around and told him that her stepdaughter, she called her by name, wanted to say hello. She did not want to say hello. She could not stand Rob. She hated him, literally. She would say those words, "I hate him." Me and the stepdaughter were very close. She was 17 at this time, 16 or 17 at this time, and she saw everything he was putting me through. We know why she did that. Because I was standing right there and she needed to let him know without saying it. I wasn't the only one who clocked that. And my stupid ass, as soon as she flipped it around, I fell to the ground to try to hide because she was blowing my cover. I wasn't quick enough. He had said something about it, like, "I fucking see you," or something like that. And I was like, why did you do that? She was doing this often. She was blocking me every chance she got. After this incident, her stepdaughter came in the room with me and she goes, "Did you see what she just did?" I said, "Yeah." She goes, "She's never done that before. She has never flipped the camera around for me to say hello to him." And I'm like, "I know." She goes, "She is literally trying to let him know that you were in the room so he doesn't say anything stupid." Imagine going to these lengths to protect a monster. Mind you, this whole time she's crying with me. She's holding me. She's comforting me every night.
That's what monster mothers do now. They will go to any length to protect their son. Even they know that my son is a murderer. He unalives people. They will still protect him. They'll tell him he's my child. I love him. Every other person be damned so long as their child is okay.
Literally tears, crying with me. She said, "I see the light drain out of your eyes. I see you're not happy anymore. You look dead." She would tell me that, "You look dead." And that's how I felt. She would tell me how much she loved me, how much the girls loved me, how I always have a home with her, how she's so sorry all of this has happened. But then she turns around and does shit like this.
Because the son learns from the best. She's the best at the game. That's who do you think the son got all that manipulative characteristics from?
So
Dun dun
now,
dun.
love bombing,
Emily.
manipulation, breadcrumbing from her. I started to see through the veil a little more quickly after that. I thought I could trust her. I thought she had my back. She had literally been a witness to every single thing he did. But yet she chose to protect him while I was falling apart, while I was taking care of his children, while I was making dinner, while I was paying bills. I considered her a mom. This is going to be the last video for a few hours. We're going to get into part 52 when
Guys, this is just a perfect example of how families go to any length to protect their loved one. We see it happen every time. Families will protect their own. They don't care whatever their family member is doing to somebody else. They will still protect the person. We see it happen. People do it. So I'm never surprised. Like I'm not shocked about by I'm not shocked by what Emily is doing. Come on now. We know a lot of mothers that do that. That's why I like men. Of course, men do, but not to the extent that women do it. I'm sure this is what drove the father away from the home. Let me just be honest. The man couldn't stand it. And he chose his happiness over dealing with this. I wish that we women would know how to take ourselves away from ugly situations, the way men take themselves away from it. But we don't know how. We just want to stay there, stay there. Well, guys, we'll continue tomorrow. I want to rest my head. It's high time I rested my head. See you guys.